time with Hearts' Mark de Vries. 6 goals in 5 games. The first 4 came in that Edinburgh derby last month when he became an instant hero to the Tynecastle faithful. And trying to cope with him this afternoon, Daniel Singevald, the German, signed from Royal Antwerp in Belgium, a former teammate in his younger days of Michael Ballack, the German star. And Singevald, certainly once he settled to his game on Tuesday, was a big presence.
I was impressed with Singevald on Tuesday night. He settled in the team very well, a big lad, and he'll need to be his best today. I'm sure he'll be the one that will probably go and mark de Vries.
Hearts against Motherwell, underway. 2 teams short on cash, but full of ambition. And the ambitious run from Alan Maybury to the edge of the Motherwell penalty box wins him an early free kick with just 10 seconds played.
It was very close. He was just outside the box and no more there. He could quite easily have been another yard and a very exciting opening to the game, a penalty kick, but an opportunity for Valois maybe to do something here. I think he would want to strike one from this distance.
If Motherwell were still dreaming about Tuesday night, they've been brought back to their senses there with that early burst from Maybury. It's full stamp. Jean-Louis Valois. Well set for Valois. And a good effort as well. Watched very carefully by Stevie Woods and turned round the post by the Motherwell keeper.
Yeah, good effort. He's got it up and over around the wall, and Woods did really well to get that away.
Made a few important stops against Celtic. And early into the action here. Valois' corner kick finds Mark de Vries, and he couldn't direct the header. Peeled away beyond the back post, and he was looking to knock that one back into the 6-yard box. But certainly Steve Woods was solidly behind the free kick from Valois.
Yeah, I think he's anticipated Valois is going to have a shot. He lined up. It wasn't a surprise, but still did well to get across. He's got to anticipate it and get himself in the right position.
That was McKenna and Kirk. A challenge from Fagan on Boyack. Stephen Hamill. Dirk Lehman. And Kevin McKenna helped out by Alan Maybury. Given away though with the loose pass. Stephen Hamill intercepted. A loose one from David Partridge, the former Dundee United defender. And he's fortunate that he's about 50 yards or so away from Terry Butcher, and he might have heard about that. He might still. De Vries linking with Kirk. And back goes Hamill to ease it out of play. Andy Kirk, of course, who opened the scoring in that explosive Edinburgh derby. Early ball in from Stamp. Uncertain with the clearance was Partridge, and it was Scott Severin who tugged his shot wide.
There was a poor clearance, snatched it a bit as the ball comes in here. You see, just all he does is deliver it sort of central of the goals, but Severin is a good strike from that side distance, just a little bit off balance there. Could quite easily gone in. Scott Severin following up well. On that occasion Stamp had gone wide, and so Severin has filled that central position, just waiting for such an eventuality, the ball just to be knocked outside the box.
"20-year-old Stephen Hamill, 18-year-old Sean Fagan." And Kevin McKenna responded to the shout from Roddy McKenzie and let it go. Another teenager on the pitch, Paul McMullen. And finds Mark de Vries. Good work from Boyack, the link man. Severin, good movement, good passing from Hearts. Maybury's cross. Here's an opportunity. Singevald with the diving header to work it away. It was nicely constructed by Hearts. Corrigan and Ramsey. Hearts captain Stephen Presley looking to impress again from an international viewpoint. Very steady performer always for Hearts in central defence, and now would seem to be the time to put him back in the Scotland squad. That was Boyack. Gets it back from De Vries. Hooked on by Keith Lasley. Strong from Severin. Put his foot in the ball and got himself away from Derek Adams. Kept in by Maybury. Stephen Hamill's pass. Left by Lasley to Ramsey, then gets it back. Two contemporaries having come through the Fir Park system. Martin Corrigan, ex of Falkirk. Lasley a willing runner, but never much chance he was going to get on the end of that. Expertly escorted behind by Kevin McKenna, a Canadian international. Experienced player, but still only 22. And 9 goals last season. He was used up front quite a lot. He's relieved to see Mark De Vries up there now. He's happy to settle down at the back with Presley. Good leap from De Vries. Although in truth he doesn't have to leap too high. Maybury's cross, cut out by Partridge. Boyack into the feet of De Vries. It's going to be an interesting tussle, isn't it, between De Vries and Singevald. Both 6'4". Mullins' cross played in too close to Stevie Woods. McKenna hanging up for the header. Derek Adams it was doing the chasing. He's wearing the captain's armband with Scott Leach out of the side. Throw aimed at Dirk Lehman. And a useful effort from Keith Lasley. Caught that pretty well. It was always going to be an awkward hit.
It's good following up, because that's what you're looking for in midfield play. Just the waiting edge of the box as Severin was before, just to have a quick strike from there. I'm just thinking, you know, we've had 7 McFadden 3 minutes so far in this game. I haven't seen him at all.
He's unlikely to be quiet for too long. McFadden always involved. Got himself a booking in the first half at Fir Park on Tuesday, which had him walking something of a tightrope, but he's that sort of player. He's always involved and likes ruffling defenders. Dirk Lehman again the target. Lasley trying to feed off it. Derek Adams, and maybe a header was on to direct that one across to James McFadden, who was in some room. Adams instead decided to have a go. Former Leeds fullback Alan Maybury. Whistled out of it, Mark De Vries. Doesn't happen too often. Hearts fans not happy. Dougie Ramsey on the overlap. Beautiful skills from Valois. Here he is again, the Frenchman. Finally stopped by Ramsey. But there's talent in those French boots. Stephen Presley pushing up. Mark De Vries. And the pass fell between Presley and Stamp. And Motherwell on the counter. There he is, James McFadden. Dirk Lehman couldn't quite get there. They've teamed up pretty well so far for Motherwell, these two, McFadden and Lehman, but not that time.
It was an interesting situation before that Stephen Presley has made a great break, come into midfield, played it into the striker, got beyond the striker, and then given the ball away. You've got to have more secure possession when you're actually playing centre-back and you go beyond your striker and you give the ball. That could easily have resulted in that pass from McFadden putting Lehman through.
One ball from Hamill. Lehman there, now McFadden. Cleared by Severin. Valois. Kirk against Singaval. It's good battling from Lasley. Not giving Valois any time on the ball. Full stamp. Bustling towards the penalty box. Now Severin. And Boyack, good hit, just too high. And good build-up from Marks as well.
Yeah, it came from Stamp driving at players. Watch this, he drags players round about him, so there's always going to be a free player. I'm sure Severin was wanting to shoot there, but he was closed down very quickly by Fagan. All he could do was get it to Boyack, who had the shot just a little bit too high.
Didn't get an awful lot of backlift here, Boyack, but still found a fair bit of power. But Stevie Woods didn't have to make a save. There's Lehman, climbing above McKenna, who was looking for a free kick. Well up Jean-Louis Valois, Mark de Vries. And that's too long for Kirk. McKenna's header goes astray. Lasley has it until Severin stepped in.
That'd be a good battle. I mean, there's a few on the pitch in these one-to-one confrontations, but certainly Lasley and Severin at times will be a tough one. Both very, very committed players, good tacklers. Severin, I think, just got that little bit more strength.
Andy Kirk, full stamp. First touch not quite there. Derek Adams lofts it over Stephen Presley's head to James McFadden. Still McFadden. That's a great ball in for Lehman! Doug Lehman for Motherwell. 12 minutes played. Brilliant from McFadden. And it's Lehman's second goal of the season.
Fabulous goal. It's all about James McFadden here. Just the ability to hold the ball until he was in the position to put the cross in. He's got two defenders around him, but what a ball he delivers. Lehman's volley, just a slight deflection off it, but you can't take anything away from a magnificent left foot volley. Great goal.
Yeah, the little deflection, I think, off McMullen on its way into the corner of the net. But what about James McFadden? Superb on Tuesday night. And he's taken up here when he left off there. Lehman with the goal.
That ability to create isn't out or nothing, Rob. Just getting the ball, dragging players, even a top-class defender like Stephen Presley, dragging them to the ball, getting people round the ball, but still using his ability to get the space to deliver the cross to the back post. They've kept him quite an early part, and I'll be glad they did so now after that opening start.
Great start for Terry Butcher and Motherwell. McKenna's cross, headed away by Hamill. Marks looking to hit back. That was Lasley. McKenna won that aerial tussle. Confusion though for Motherwell. And now Andy Kirk. Valois' cross. Mark de Vries didn't get enough on it. A chance very quickly to square the game.
Yeah, he didn't get a head on at all, didn't get any purchase on it. It's a good ball in. You see him, he gets across in front of the defender. Watch this, he makes a great run, gets there, but he's turned it too much. Just too light a touch on it. It was a chance.
And he was well clear of Zingeveld as well. And Mark de Vries, I'm sure, will have viewed that as an excellent opportunity to make it 1-1. And he hasn't missed too many since arriving in Scottish football. Danger for Hearts again as James McFadden gets on the ball. The right foot cross this time. The diving header away by Severin. And that was Martin Corrigan's shot deflected behind. He scored once in 90-odd games. I don't think we'd quite describe him as prolific. Derek Adams with the corner kick. There's Singabald, good powerful header. Phil Stamp was there, but it's not cleared. Punched away by McKenzie. There's a clutter of players in front of him. Adams again, useful ball in. Aimed at Corrigan at the near post. And it all fizzles out for Stephen Hamill.
Bit of a speculative effort, but it's been a good spell for Motherwell. They've come on well, and then getting the goal has lifted their confidence, I think.
This was an awkward one for Roddy McKenzie, trying to get himself above David Partridge and punch the ball away. Let's get the view from the technical area. Chick.
Well, both coaches a bit worried about the midfield, Rob. Corrigan and Adams wanting being ups into for Motherwell by Terry Butcher, and most of the abuse is probably the wrong word, encouragement, if you like, from the Hearts dugout to Severn to get himself in the midfield involved alongside Stamp. So that's both coaches concentrating the midfield at the moment.
I think we've seen more of Severn so far. The only thing we've really seen from Stamp was a little burst he had that led to the shot from Boyack. He has to get into it a bit more. Severn has been quite prominent so far.
De Vries the target. Gets the better of Partridge this time. Rolled through for Andy Kirk and not far away from setting up his strike partner. Good goalkeeping from Woods.
Looked offside, to be honest with you. Maybe if it got on the end of that there could have been a few complaints from Motherwell people.
Here's how you can take part in a regular man of the match competition. Telephone on 0900 10 225. Texting 07736 600 600. And Gordon will decide later. Mark De Vries with a head flick, but no great threat to the Motherwell defence. 16.5 minutes in, and Dirk Lehmann's goal separates these two sides. We haven't seen too much of James McFadden so far, but what we have seen has been simply stunning. That looked like a foul on Phil Stamp, and it looked that way to Hugh Dallas as well. Foul given against Corrigan. And it is an intriguing area, that central midfield. He's got a bit of tough stuff to knock Phil Stamp over. Hasn't happened too often in his Motherwell days. 10 years he was on Teesside. Teesside to Tynecastle for Stamp. Presley's under pressure. Dirk Lehmann making him work. And Mullen maybe a bit fortunate against James McFadden. Dirk Lehmann scoring his second goal of this campaign, but Gordon, all about James McFadden here.
It was, but I still have to give Lehmann credit. I mean, McFadden did all the donkey work, but this is a great volley. He's kept it down, kept it on target. Not an easy one to take. I mean, they can end up in Rose Ed if you don't quite catch them right, and he's not an actual left-sided player either, so Dirk Lehmann has to get a lot of credit.
McFadden trots into the penalty box. Set piece opportunity for Motherwell to add to their lead. In from Stephen Hamill. Singabald was there. He is an undoubted menace at set pieces. Scored a couple of times for the Motherwell under-21s a couple of weeks back, and obviously just because of his height and his bulk, he's going to be pretty awkward to cope with.
It will be in those sort of situations. They're hard to defend those because they're curling in. The keeper can't really come, so you're relying on the defenders to win it. But Singabald just got the run on Stephen Presley, just like De Vries before him. He couldn't turn it in.
I'm talking about Mark De Vries, foul against him. Didn't seem to go down too well with the home support for some reason. But there was the nudge into Partridge when the ball was in the air. Came off the head of Kevin McKenna, and I don't think Roddy McKenzie got there in time. It's a corner kick. So Daniel Singevald and David Partridge both push up Martin Corrigan as well into the penalty box. In fact, Corrigan right onto the goal line in front of the goalkeeper. In from Derek Adams. First there was McKenna. That was determined stuff from Valois. There's Sean Fagan, the teenager, with 3 subs appearances to his name before today, and 1 glorious goal to remember, that diving header that beat Rob Douglas on Tuesday. Scott Severn wanted too much time on the ball. James McFadden's away from him. That's well judged by McKenna, but it's still not clear for Hearts, and the captain, Derek Adams, disappointed with himself that he couldn't have put that on target.
He was unlucky. The ball took a little spin, just fantastic. Good work again. James McFadden goes past Scott Severn, delivers a good ball in, but watch this, as it comes here to Adams, it just takes a little spin away, and it picks up pace as he's about to volley. He was setting himself right, but he was unlucky.
Motherwell here, live on BBC Scotland. And next Sunday we're at Dens Park, Dundee, against Celtic, on here from 2:30, the latest of our live matches. Boyak's ball into the box, comfortably cleared by Partridge. Jean-Louis Valois trying to go just a little bit too far with the ball there, lost possession. Now Lehman to Ramsey. That was intended for McFadden, it works out for Corrigan. And Martin Corrigan had bags of time there to put his foot in the ball, rather than trying the speculative shot from 25 yards out. Maybury for Kirk. Did well, Andy Kirk, to get in front of David Partridge. Here's Valois and Severn. Support comes from Paul McMullen. Just lost his touch there. And Crickleby not too chuffed with Scott Severn at the moment, I understand.
No, he's just been over to the touchline for a real flea in the ear, but I think the problem is he feels he's not matching the runs. In the case of Derek Adams a couple of moments ago, when he got forward at a shot, had the real go at him and called him over for a more quiet, calmer word, if you like, Rob.
Motherwell on the move again with McFadden. Overrun at this time, which allows Stephen Presley to get his body in the way. 2 men who hope to be in the Scotland squad for Iceland. And it was Presley, of course, who was skinned by McFadden for that opening goal. McFadden got beyond him and then whipped in that so tempting ball, which allowed Dirk Lehman to finish. That's the only goal so far, midway through the first half at Tynecastle. Singevald and De Vries battling for it. Andy Kirk feeding on the scraps. Valois' effort. Looking for that one to come back in off the outside of his left foot, but it went pretty straight.
Yeah, I don't think his teammates were looking for him to shoot there. I think they were. Andy Kirk was feeding him with a view to getting into a better position in the box. You see him, both him and Valois got in the box and not happy there at all.
And he was man of the match, of course, in the Edinburgh derby. And let's be fair to Sandy Clark, it was before Mark De Vries had scored goals 3 and 4.
Yeah, I might just hang off today before I have to give any
week on Wednesday. Kevin McKenna hanging it up for Jean-Louis Valois. What's Terry Butcher been saying, Chick?
Well, thanks to the help of Scott Leach alongside me, who's an interpreter for me. He's told me that what Motherwell are trying to do is get the out via Stevie Hamill. That's the out. We're under pressure defensively. They want to get the ball to him. And that's what Terry's... Oh.
Free kick given over at the touchline against a late one on Dougie Ramsey. The boot left in here.
Yeah, I'm interested to see this again, whether he actually made contact. I think there was a slight contact in his foot, no doubt about that.
It's Andy Kirk, who is trying to stop the release of the ball from Ramsey. Nothing too malicious, I don't think. Stevie Woods with the free kick. Lehman can't get there.
I think losing the goal has been more of a psychological blow to Hearts, Robbie. They've lost their way a little bit in terms of being creative and the confidence they showed in the early part of the game. They have to get that going again.
Here's Andy Kirk, and that's a waste. It's a poor ball into the box after a good movement from him as well to make himself available for that long ball downfield. He did that so right, and the ball in so wrong.
Well, the pattern of play is that De Vries plants himself centrally. He's the one, he's a big target man, and Kirk does all the running either side, and he's got pace, Kirk there, and he got himself in a good position, but you've still got to deliver the ball in the box.
Kevin McKenna's header. McKenna might be playing against Scotland shortly. Scotland with a friendly international against the Canadians at Easter Road. Just a few days after Reykjavik. Partridge for McFadden, and offside. Difficult to tell, but he was certainly running at an angle, trying to keep himself on, the teenager. That's good work. Adams and Lehman, and now Lasley. But the pass favoured Presley. That was until James McFadden got himself involved. And he really is a nightmare to play against, isn't he?
Did well to chase that down, because Stephen Presley felt he got there first, and then he just delayed on it. He probably was just better being positive as a defender, just getting the ball away, out the way. But McFadden's robbed him, and he's got the reward for it.
Derek Adams with the corner kick. Singevald was there, and James McFadden has scored! 2-0 Motherwell, and it's McFadden who took a painful one as he headed the ball home. He's okay now.
Yeah, they're waking him up to tell him he scored. What a good header it was. The ball knocked back across goal. Watch this, he just gets in front of Scott Severin. He takes a sore one, but it's a marvellous header just to get it away in the corner. I mean, this is James McFadden's time has come in Scottish football, hasn't it? I mean, he's making an impression again today, but he does really well. Very brave here to get in the header as Scott Severin challenged him.
That's what I was just about to say.
No chance.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Gordon, that was a really brave header. He picked his spot, and he wasn't bothered about the fact that he was about to get clattered by Scott Severin. He picked his spot perfectly, and Motherwell now 2-0 up at Tynecastle.
It's a good performance from Motherwell so far. Hearts started very positively and being a home side and being in such good form, but Motherwell have taken the game to them completely, and they've showed a lot of positive play. Also very confident play as the game's going on, and in James McFadden they have somebody that can turn games around for them.
Jake, what did Scott Leach make of that?
Well, Scott's out beside me. Your team on fire, are they not?
Yes, they're doing absolutely magnificent. Great finish with Doug Lehman, and then a well-rehearsed move from the corner, and great finish from James McFadden.
You're not going to get back in this side, are you?
No, that's the problem.
Hearts on a free kick. Some wrestling going on, and well, they may want to take it quickly, Andy Kirk, but he can't take it that quickly. But Hearts would love to make something of this situation.
They need something, Rob. Hearts need something before half-time here. This game is just drifting away from them, and they need to get themselves back in. As I said before, they seem to have, the heads are going down a little bit, and the confidence is going out of them, so they need to get back in the game.
It looks nicely set up again for Jean-Louis Valois. He's had one effort from a free kick already saved by Stevie Woods. Chance to try again. This time into the wall. Phil Stark hesitated as he thought McMullen was going to come onto it. Valois for Kirk just beyond him. David Partridge saw it coming. Good exchange between Boyack and Maybury. That's for Mark de Vries. Couldn't keep it down. Another chance for de Vries.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a word with Sean Fagan there. Just a late challenge there on Maybury. Just couldn't get there to stop the cross, and he still followed through with his challenge. I think he's been spoken to, and his captain over there to listen to it. But de Vries probably should have done better. Should have got up above the defender, headed the ball down the way.
What's terrific, Gordon, about this Motherwell performance is that Terry Butcher had to make changes. He didn't want to, he had to. He's had to reshuffle the midfield, and it's all working beautifully.
Well, I give them tremendous credit for that, because it isn't the side he wanted to play. But they're fitting in well. Martin Corrigan's working away in midfield. Young Sean Fagan's had to come in and play there too. They lose the sparkle they even had from Pearson, who's a very good player, and they've lost the natural balance they had. The left-sided players, both Leach and Pearson, not available, and yet they've come to Tynecastle today, a place where nobody else has won this season so far. I know it's early in the season, but Hearts started well, and the Motherwell doing a really good job, and the Hearts do need to lift it. There's a lot of dissatisfaction among the supporters now in terms of how the performance has actually diminished as the game's going on here.
Yes, Hearts up till today unbeaten at home, and the only match they have lost in the league was at Ibrox on Wednesday night. Singavold with the header away. Mark de Vries powering onto the loose ball, and foul given against Martin Corrigan. It's taken quickly. Valois loses possession. The ball with McFadden. And that means potential problems for Hearts every time he's on it. Lehman and Adams. Chase for Keith Lasley. Did well to catch it. And of course, there's McMullen into conceding the throw. A lot of belief about this Motherwell side. You saw it midweek, and you can see it here again today. It's a goal kick after Lehman. The first goal scored by the German here, and the second for the young Scot, James McFadden. Well, James McFadden already staking his claim to another Man of the Match award. He's got one bottle of champagne. Promises me faithfully he hasn't drunk it yet, but he might be well en route to another one. Free kick given against Hamill's challenge on Maybury. The Hearts fans making a lot of noise, but I think they're just getting frustrated because this match not going their way.
It's not a bad challenge. I think it must just be for persistent fouling here. He must have had 2 or 3 already, because that in itself wouldn't have deserved a booking.
Yellow for Stephen Hamill. They do pick up a lot of cautions, do Motherwell.
Sitting on the aggressive side, they look as if they've got a cause, and they fight very hard.
Stephen Boyack with the free kick. Mark de Vries chasing. It was Kevin McKenna who had a flash at it in the penalty box. And that's a foul against Singavold, who was giving it his all to try and keep Mark de Vries quiet. Humble apologies.
One thing I'll say to Hugh Dallas here just now is let the game flow a bit, because there's been 2 or 3 occasions he's given the foul, and it was a foul, but Hearts are still in possession of the ball there. They've got an advantage. Let the game go.
In from Jean-Louis Valois. The header from Mark de Vries gets Hearts back into the game. His 7th goal in 6 games for Hearts. It's now 2-1.
Well, I'm not going for man of the match yet, but that's a good header. That's what complained about before, the one that he headed over the bar. You get above it, get a header down, you've always got a chance of scoring. It's a good delivery from Balwar again, but it's very well timed header. He's had to step back to take it, and Hearts needed that. As you said, Rob, they needed to get back in this game quickly as possible.
Here come Motherwell again with Dirk Lehmann holding it up, looking for reinforcements. Did well. But Roddy McKenzie comes to collect. Good work again from De Vries. Quick ball from Valois. Boyack on the byline. De Vries again. Andy Kirk underneath, and a good take by Woods. You can feel the life now beginning to flow back into Hearts. That goal has given them a much-needed injection. And they're just a little bit quicker to everything now, and a little bit more determined. And Stephen Presley leading from the front as the skipper. Hamill's throw. Lehmann's header. Adams knocks it down for Lasley. Good one too. Keith Lasley didn't catch the shot. Neat build-up though, just at the edge of the area.
Well, we've got a game in our hands now. That was neat work, and you know, Motherwell don't lose their composure here as well. Then, you know, they're still right in this game. They've got the lead at the moment, but they'll know that Hearts are going to step up the pressure just before half-time.
Scott Severin trying to pick out Andy Kirk. Came off the back of Daniel Singevald. Didn't know an awful lot about it. And that's poor distribution because it hands back possession to Hearts. Valois' cross carries too much weight. And that's a goal kick. Well, Mark De Vries with his 7th Premier League goal in quick time. And interesting for me here, Gordon, was that Daniel Singevald stumbled and lost De Vries, who in the end had pretty much a free header.
He did. It was a free header, but it was still a good header. He had to get it down, and Singevald's done a good job on him so far. Real physical battle, because De Vries is a real presence up front. He's hard to handle, and on that occasion there, it just shows you what happens if you just let him get away from you 1 yard and the ball ends up in the net.
Lehmann, then McFadden, then De Vries, means 2-1 Motherwell. Three goals already. I wonder we're heading for another 6-goal game. We've had 3 of them on BBC Scotland this season in the league already. That's a good delivery from Stephen Hamill. Dirk Lehmann has a chance. Powerful strike as well. And Roddy McKenzie well placed. But what a pass that was from Stephen Hamill. 50-60 yards right into the stride of his striker. It's swinging one way then the other now. David Partridge had to be decisive. De Vries is still there. It's being played like a cut tie, this. Phil Stamp.
Well, you think De Vries suffered for the same as Lehmann had just a second or two earlier. Well, no support. Lehmann had a great ball from Hamill, got forward, and he's wide, and there's nobody to play the ball to, nobody up to support, so he has to shoot. And once again there, you saw De Vries put the defence under panic there. Partridge and Hamill just getting the ball away no more, and as he turns round, there's no one within 15-20 yards of him, so he really left in his own.
James McFadden against Stephen Presley. He's through. Squares it. And Alan Maybury is there. Sean Fagan was waiting just beyond the Hearts fullback.
Great disguise, McFadden. Watch this. You don't know what he's going to do. You think he's going to step back onto his left foot again, and he drags it past Stephen Presley. Terrific play.
It really has been an entertaining first half, and James McFadden would be just about top of your list. Unless you're a Hearts fan, of course. Here he is again. Gets to the byline, McFadden. Another tempting ball in, missed by McKenzie. Missed by Lehman as well.
Super ball. Look at that. He's just lifted over. Roddy McKenzie does really well. That if he doesn't get that little touch, that's going to finish in the net.
Yeah, it was those fingertips from McKenzie that touched that one away from the head of Dirk Lehman. Trying to fill the gloves of Antti Niemi, which takes a bit of doing. And it's McKenzie with the ball in his hands again. He's played just 34 games in 9 years at Hearts. And now he'll see himself as having a chance for a few months before the transfer market reopens to make the place his own. On Maybury eyes the penalty box, looking for Mark de Vries. And protection for Stevie Woods from Daniel Singevald. Lehman couldn't get control, now Presley. Stephen Boyack, it's beyond Mark de Vries. Daniel Singevald could have let it go. Biggie Ramsey stops it going for the corner. Play on, says Hugh Dallas. James McFadden gets the benefit of any doubt. Certainly let it flow there. Four minutes left of the first half, and any stoppage time that Hugh Dallas chooses to add on. 3 goals already, 2 for Motherwell. Push by Singevald on Kirk.
He's going to have to be careful. It's a good game, Singevald, but he's got to be careful about giving away those sort of fouls, because they're going to mount up and end up, and he's going to get put for persistent fouling as well.
Stephen Boyack gets on the wrong side of Stephen Hamill. Defended by Partridge. Diving header from Derek Adams. That's good work from Adams in central midfield, breaking things down. And he's onside, but he won't catch it. It was good play from the skipper there, because it was he who won the ball in midfield, and it was he who was looking to make things count in the final third. McMullen sets it up for de Vries, chested down for Phil Stamp. Did he use an arm?
He did. He was just getting knocked aside. I think he was claiming he was fouled there, but he did use his arm to try and get it. I think Corrigan just sort of brushed him aside.
Woods aims for Lehman. Couldn't get on the end of it. Hearts hoping they can level this match before half-time. Phil Stamp, good play. Jean-Louis Valois, great footwork. Trying to work it back onto the left side. That pass into the box came off Partridge, intended for Kirk. Severn being given no time on the ball at all there by Keith Lasley. McMullen seeing the run of Kirk. Valois played that without really looking.
Yeah, he's a really skillful player, and he delivered a great ball for the goal, but he's also overhit his forwards 2 or 3 times from that side in the first half. He's really trying to get early crosses in the box, but they can't afford to overhit it, especially when you've only got one man in the box as there was there. Only de Vries was up.
Kerry McKenna winning the aerial tussle, and again That was Severin. And Singevald first there. Good delivery again from Stephen Hamill, but the offside flag is up. And the news is that there will be no added time at the end of this first half, so 30 seconds left.
I think it's been excellent first half. I think both sides showing a lot of commitment. I think Hearts started the better team, but as this first half wore on, definitely Motherwell come more and more into it, and I've been impressed by their play, and I think they deserve the half-time lead if it finishes it was 2-1 at the end here.
Motherwell with the cross-field pass to Maybury. 45 minutes are up. There is to be a minute added, we hear now. Wish Hugh Dallas would make up his mind. Certainly no complaints about the entertainment value in this first half. Two teams having a real go. And it's been played at a fair old pace as well. Adams, who's playing an important role for Motherwell in central midfield. They need his experience. As even with Pearson out on the side, age average I think comes down because Sean Fagan is a year younger. Half-time at Tynecastle, and Motherwell starting exactly where they left off at Fir Park on Tuesday night. Dirk Lehmann opened the scoring for them, turning in the cross from James McFadden. It deflected off McMillan, and then it was McFadden himself to make it 2 for Motherwell with a very brave header. Mark de Vries scored his 7th goal of a very productive season to give Hearts renewed hope at the interval that they can pull things back in the second half. But Stephen Presley could do nothing about the wing play of McFadden. He waited his moment, delivered a wonderful ball in, and Dirk Lehmann's left foot volley deflected into the corner off McMillan. No chance for Roddy McKenzie. Then it was McFadden with his head, that very distinctive hairdo, and he was clattered as well by Scott Severin as he powered that header into the corner. Motherwell 2-0 up. Motherwell, Hearts will hope this goal makes a big difference to them. Mark de Vries scoring yet again, and that makes a big difference. It's 2-1 at half-time. What does Peter Houston think about it?
Peter, you've just watched the 3 goals in the first half. What are your emotions at the moment?
Disappointed. We started well and created a couple of chances, and then we just fell asleep. Quite frankly, didn't work hard enough, I don't think, in the middle of the park and let midfield players run. We told them it would be a battle, Motherwell fight and scrap for everything, and we cost ourselves a couple of goals, but fortunately we've got a goal that brings us right back in it again. Yeah, I'm sitting behind the dugout trying to interpret the signals you're giving to the players, but I guessed you weren't happy with the matching of the Motherwell midfield runs. That's correct. We're letting them run off us for the middle of the park, and we're trying to get information on. Severin's getting himself back there, but we've got to get more from Boyack and Stamp in the middle of the park, as well as John Louis defensively. So is that the message you'll be giving to them in the dressing room? Yeah, it certainly is. We have to work a wee bit harder. Should we expect any changes at the start? Second no, right away at the start. We'll probably just wait and see how it goes and how it develops. If we get another goal, it takes us back on the game. Thanks, Peter. Cheers.
So, Hearts 1, Motherwell 2 at half-time. Peter Houston says they have to work harder, the Hearts team. John Robertson, 3-1 to Hearts. It's going to be, you said before the game, sticking by that?
No, well, I'll say, under severe pressure now. It's been a bad weekend for me, but no, it's a cracking match. You know, credit to Motherwell. They've scored 2 well-taken goals. Tremendous strike from Dirk and a fantastic header from McFadden. But Hearts are still in there, and they're creating chances. It's a cracking game. I'm really enjoying the match. It's a tremendous flow to the match. It's a great tempo, and one thing for sure, there's more goals left in this game.
It certainly seems that way. That de Vries goal really get through the lifeline to Hearts there, Walter.
Yes, it did do, because they hadn't been doing anything really to pressurise Motherwell's backlot at that stage. And you know, you felt that Motherwell could hold out to half-time. That would be a big boost for them. And I agreed with Gordon. I thought the referee was stopping the game a little bit too early, but he's done Hearts a favour on that occasion and allowed the free kick to be taken, and they've capitalised on that. So they've got a little bit of a lifeline back, but certainly from a Motherwell point of view, they can be pleased with the way the first half's gone.
Okay, well, we'll talk about the first half in depth a little later. We've already seen the Livingston Rangers game from yesterday and the Celtic Hibs game. Let's have a look at the 3 other games from yesterday, starting with the one from Firhill. After losing out to Kilmarnock at Rugby Park midweek, John Lambie's men were in the mood to make amends and started the first half with more focus than the Taysiders. Alec Burns was illegally halted on the edge of the 18-yard box, and he forced a great save from Julian Speroni from the resulting free kick. The Jags were faster and more determined all over the park, except in front of goals. Burns could have done better here. The pressure did finally pay off, though, 5 minutes before the break. Alec Burns again involved. His cross caused confusion, and Jamie Mitchell got the better of Lee Wilkie to make it 1-0. Speroni could do nothing to stop this well-composed finish. After the break, Jim Duffy's men were on level terms only 5 minutes in. Ray and Caballero showing some good understanding, and the young Scot revelled in the opportunity to make it 1-1. John Lambie should consider shaving a few inches off the woodwork at Firhill, because if it hadn't been for the thickness of the posts, they would have finished with all 3 points. Jamie Buck in there, then Alex Burns' fierce header beat everything but the bar. Juan Saro replaced Fabian Caballero and almost immediately made an impact after what can only be described as a good old-fashioned stramash. But John Lambie was hoping for a set piece and offered a Thistle legend the chance to make a historical comeback.
I shoved him in hoping if you get a free kick, but the whistle blew, it didn't materialise, but he's superb in dead ball situations, and he never gave the ball away. His first pass was absolutely brilliant, wasn't it?
From our point of view, going away from home in the SPL and picking up a point is a good result. I'm sure Patriots will be disappointed, because they certainly had the better of the match.
Typical. Nothing for ages, then two come at once. According to Dunfermline boss Jimmy Calderwood, this was the first time the Pars have won back-to-back away games in the Premier League since 1991. And following on from the terrific 4-1 win at Easter Road on Wednesday, Dunfermline made a wonderful start at Tannadice, and I'd be highly surprised if Gary Dempsey's ever scored a better goal. Certainly in front of the TV cameras anyway. There's not much a goalkeeper can do when the ball moves this much in the air. If United were shocked by that, they found themselves 2 goals down after only 16 minutes. You just can't stop Stevie Crawford scoring at the moment, and when the United defence got themselves in a bit of a fankle, the Scotland man claimed his 3rd goal in as many games. When you're hot, and Crawford can't put a foot wrong at the moment. Gently encouraged at half-time by manager Alex Smith, United came out strongly after the interval and had a goal back within 5 minutes. Derek Lilly taking full advantage of Dunfermline's unusual reluctance to put in a tackle. Perhaps the Pars defenders were worried about giving away a penalty, and Lilly made them pay the price. The quality of Dunfermline's goalkeeping was just as good as their finishing, and Marco Rutenbeek played a full part in securing the 3 points. Stephen Thompson did nothing wrong here, but Rutenbeek read the situation well. Thompson then turned provider 10 minutes from time, but Rutenbeek produced an even better save to frustrate Jim Laughlin and secure the win for the Pars.
I think Alec will be very disappointed he never got nothing from it. Looking at the second half, you know, we had to battle. You know, it's always a ding-dong battle up here, and we're lucky enough to get away with 3 points.
We found ourselves 2-0 down, having taken a grip of the game for the start. And then from then on, we dominated the game, totally dominated it. And it's just strange how football's like that.
Aberdeen could not have warmed up better for their midweek European tie than by playing at sun-kissed Rugby Park, and anyone who watched this match was treated to the proverbial game of 2 halves. Although Kilmarnock totally controlled the first half, they struggled to find the killer touch in front of goal. The closest they came was as early as the 2nd minute, when this Peter Canero shot was well saved by David Priest. However, all the action in this game came in the second half, and after only 10 minutes, Killie finally got the reward for their domination. The Gary McSwiggan cross led to a scramble in the box as Chris Boyd tumbled to the ground, and the Killie fans claimed for a penalty. Alan Mahood it was that pounced on the loose ball to fire Killie into the lead. Ten minutes later, Mahood turned from saint to sinner as his loose pass gifted the ball to Eric Delomo. One carefully flighted chip later, and Laurent Jaffo had equalised for the Dons in what was their first real attack of the game. A lovely through ball and a cool finish put Aberdeen on level terms. The Dons then took the game to Killie, and with 12 minutes left they took the lead. Jimmy McAllister free kick was only headed out to substitute Darren Young, and his superb right foot strike put Aberdeen 2-1 up. A great shot, and Gordon Marshall could do nothing to save this one. Killie fought hard for an equaliser and were rewarded in the last minute. A Stevie Fulton corner was played back across the goal by Jose Katongo, and Barry McLaughlin powered home the header. The former St Mirren teammates linking up to earn Killie a well-deserved point.
Well in command, up 1-0, he shows never safe at one. They equalise, they get the left, they go and make it 2-1. But the players battled back and got 2-2, and it was deserved, because it would have been a travesty if Kilmarnock hadn't got anything of that game today.
I don't feel we got robbed. I think it's a fair result to look objective on the situation after that first half. But with a little luck, we could maybe have sneaked away with all 3 points.
Of course, Aberdeen have got that match coming up against Hertha Berlin on Tuesday. Not a very good first half performance, John, from Aberdeen, but buoyed by the fact they've got that 1 point.
Yeah, it's tough. You go away from home in the Premier League, you want to try and pick up something, and obviously the home sides, because there's not much between everybody else apart from the top two. You need to really press home that advantage, and Kilmarnock didn't do it first half, got their noses in front, but I mean, 2 terrific finishes from the Aberdeen lads, nearly nicked it for them. Yeah, looking ahead to that European game that they've got, Walter, it's going to be a tough one, Hertha Berlin, and they're up at Pittodrie on Tuesday, but it's still going to be a really tough game, that one.
Yes, it'll be a very difficult match for them. By all accounts, Hertha are a good side. Aberdeen, some strange performances this season, 1 or 2 good ones, but I heard the radio commentary yesterday, and by all accounts they weren't involved in the game at Rugby Park at all, and we're very fortunate to come away with a draw. That'll be a very, very tough task, considering they've got the first game at home. Yeah. That's the game that they'll have to do well if they're going to progress in the tie.
Okay. Well, we're here at, we're at Tynecastle. The guys are at Tynecastle to watch Hearts against Motherwell. Let's have a look at the first half action. Here's the story of the match. We knew that Motherwell were going to start well this game because they came out, they're clearly buoyed by their start against Celtic, but Hearts get the first of the action there. That was with the old Valwa free kick.
Yeah, it might have been another yard further there, but we don't get an opening out penalty, but you know, after that, Hearts would be disappointed with the way they played. You know, Motherwell took control of the game more or less, and Hearts had very, very few opportunities after that opening 5 minutes or so. The first goal, we talked about, you know, this boy James McFadden. He's playing with a lot of confidence, John, and here's the goal. And great work.
He's done terrific there. I mean, he's held the ball up and held the ball for the right time to deliver, and the crossing end is magnificent. I think Hearts will be disappointed that Lehman's just peeled off the back there of, I'm not sure if it was Almeida, the young lad, McMillan. That was a terrific finish.
Now, what about James McFadden, Walter? I mean, he's an impressive player, isn't he? He's played with a tremendous amount of confidence.
Yes, he's a lot of young players come in and they can do that for the first season, but he looks as though he's a capability of hanging on. He showed something there that, you know, having watched him play the other night there and seeing it again, he's a brave player, and he showed great bravery there going in and got a terrific header there, prepared to take the knock to get the goal.
And of course we talked about the goal coming in that the Hearts absolutely needed to get back into this game, and this is De Vries. This is, I think, his 7th goal in 6 games. That's a great record.
Yeah, it's a tremendous record, and you can see his obvious attribute is his strength in the air. He's actually, you know, saying in the commentary that the Motherwell player slipped. He was held off by De Vries. He's a big lad, and he knows where the goals are, and with that kind of threat, you know, Hearts could still get back into this match.
Just look at that there. I mean, it's interesting that Hearts have had, you know, 60% of the possession there, but they're 2-1 down at half-time. They've had not as many shots on goal as Motherwell, but the more shots on target. They said there before the half-time that Hearts have to put in harder work, John. What else would you suggest that they need to do to get back into this game?
I think they need to get more crosses in, and I think Walter said that after it took 39 minutes or something for the first reasonable cross to come in for Mark De Vries to get up and use his height. I think they've got to get command of midfield, get the ball out to their wide men, their wingers, and get more balls into the box. I think most of their stuff has been long range. They've only managed to work good possession wide a couple of times, and they've had obviously the best chances have come when they've managed to knock the cross in. So I think they'll want to take control of the centre midfield and get the ball out wide.
Yeah, a player like Valwa, he's not getting an awful lot of time from the Motherwell defenders, whereas James McFadden, they seem to be standing off him. He's getting a chance to do a bit more work.
Well, slightly different, you know. I think McFadden coming from the middle out the way is finding spaces in the wider areas of the pitch, especially on the left-hand side, you know. and you know, Motherwell being the away side and being the side who are up with Hearts having to come forward a little bit more, are probably easier for them to find that space. You know, from Hearts' point of view, you know, they must do better in the wider areas of the pitch. You know, they must get full-backs and wider players down and get crosses in. They did so to reasonable effect in the last 10 minutes of the half there. They'll need more of that, whereas Motherwell need more of the same of the first half, and hope that as the game goes on, they're starting to force Hearts to come more and more forward to allow Lehman and allow McFadden to get beyond them.
OK, well, time now to go back to see that second half live. Second half of Hearts against Motherwell. They're at Tynecastle. It's Gordon Smith and Rob McLean.
Motherwell on course for a pretty impressive double, as you hear from Chris McCart.
Chris, what do you have to say to the boys in the dressing room at half-time?
Obviously we're delighted with the start they made to the game, but disappointed at the goal we lost from a set play. And we've warned them all week about Hearts, you know, the force they've got.
And no changes in the second half?
No, we're going to keep it the same.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay.
It would be a pretty amazing achievement for Motherwell if they could beat Celtic on the Tuesday night and then beat Hearts on their home patch on the Sunday. Certainly laid the foundations, Motherwell, but that Mark de Vries goal might just make a difference for the home team. Just looking at those half-time statistics, Gordon, an amazing number of shots on target for 45 minutes.
That's good. I mean, it's excellent. I once saw some stats that said that if you had 10 teams at 10 shots, looking at World Cup matches, 10 shots on target, never lost. So Motherwell aren't far away from that now, are they? And I think it was 6-5, wasn't it, in shots at goal? So we need to keep doing that. But I thought it was an excellent first half. I think that just shows the sort of standard we're watching. Plenty of entertaining stuff.
And a lot of promising young Scots on the pitch as well, which has always got to be good as we rebuild. 18-year-old Mullen on the ball. And Roy Valois looking for more graft from him, as Peter Houston was telling us just before half-time. And Mullen getting to the byline and forcing a corner kick off Dougie Ramsey. Bells Hill born McMullen. And a lot of good young players have come out of that little town. Hearts looking to make something of the corner kick. Drops on the roof of the net.
Looked like corner to me. I thought it came off a Motherwell man last there, so Dallas didn't see it that way.
Free kick given against Kevin McKenna. He tries to plead his innocence, but I think he's wasting his breath. And Hugh Dallas doesn't like people talking back to him, even if they are about 6 inches taller.
And they hate sarcasm as well, as you know, Rob. It's a major crime.
Yellow card offence. Singavold and Partridge up in the box. McFadden there as well. And back doing some defending, Mark de Vries. Up and under from Ramsey. And that was a late one by Daniel Singavold. And Kevin McKenna, that was a sore one as well. And a yellow card.
Well, it was only a matter of time. An easy one to predict in the first half. But yellow card was coming for him. Challenge doesn't need to be made. I mean, it's in the halfway line. You're a defender. You concentrate all the challenges that have to be made in the danger zone in the final third. Because it could be crucial. There's no point in doing it there in the halfway line and giving away not only the free kick, but ending up with a yellow card because the defender then you've got to be very careful. He's walking a tightrope now.
Yeah, I don't think Terry Butcher is going to be too impressed with that yellow card at all, because there's going to be a lot of defending to do for Singavold between now and full time, and that's a yellow card incurred on the halfway line. And He knows all about the art of central defence. The Steely Butcher, 77 times capped for his country, and while the manager won't quibble about a lot of the yellow cards if you're just being competitive, that's pretty crazy, that one. McKenna has been treated and he's back on. Six games played in Scottish football, or 5.5, and 7 goals. Not a bad start. Scored 14 times for Dordrecht in the Dutch First Division last season. And he's leading in Scotland now. Singavold. Free kick given against Stephen Boyack for going in with his studs up.
I thought it was the right decision there. I thought that Stephen Boyack was the one with his studs up there, and I didn't think Hamill really went into the challenge at all, so right decision.
Smith backs Dallas, shocker. Lehman climbing on anything that was handy. He's trying to get up for the header. He was on the shoulders of McKenna. Free kick. Presley to Valois. Scintillating performance in the derby last month. Good movement again from Andy Kirk. Mullen tried to play that first time. Might come off for him. Phil Stamp, Stephen Boyack, now Maybury, beyond De Vries, and well seen and well cut out by Daniel Singevald. Valois with the delivery, it's beyond Hamill, he got the merest touch on it, back in from Boyack, and Stamp's effort off the line by Singevald. What an escape from Motherwell. That seemed certain to be an equaliser. Motherwell survive.
Good work by Singevald to get away, but it looks as if Stamp never really got anything on the ball here. The ball broke to him, and you see he almost just knocked it towards goal rather than actually having a shot. Did well, keep it on target, the main thing. Good ball in for Stephen Boyack. Well, that made it really just to give him the chance, but maybe a little bit more from Stamp there, and that would have finished in the net.
I think Phil Stamp's reaction told you everything there. It is head in his hands because he realised how good a chance that was. And good defending at the other end of the pitch from Stephen Presley, under pressure again from McFadden. And James McFadden slowly getting back to his feet. Valois to Stamp, encouraging Alan Maybury forward. And right on the touchline, Stephen Boyack. Into the feet of De Vries. Back for Stephen Boyack. Here's a chance. Good save, Stevie Woods. It doesn't matter what you stop them with.
Yeah, good reaction save, but good work. Boyack again, who'd just been involved in the move just before that. Great play with De Vries and fine shot.
Across from Valois. Severin flung himself at it. Good play from Maybury. Just take your time, Roddy. Shoulder to shoulder. Kirk and Hamill. Free kick against Stephen Hamill. There's a yellow card against his name already.
Yeah, he shouldn't have complained too much. He just made contact here, just brushed him aside. Obstruction really, but Hearts have definitely stepped it up well in the second half. I think the half-time pep talk they've obviously had from Craig Levine has made a difference, and they got themselves another goal here and got back to 2 each. Then they might just have the momentum to carry on and win the game.
Valois' free kick. McKenna was there, and he knows that was a little chance.
Good ball in, the real threat. Kevin McKenna at set pieces gets his head on it, but doesn't get enough to turn it towards goal.
He has been known to score from these sort of situations, and again you see from his reaction that he felt he did the hard part by finding the space for the header, and then he couldn't hit the target. Gregory to Boyack. Presley. Hamill's header. Back it comes from Severin. Good touch from Boyack. And another free kick. Another challenge on Andy Kirk, this time by Martin Corrigan. Hearts playing with purpose. McMillan's cross deflected away. Here comes Presley. Valois, good hit. Straight at Stevie Woods with a lot of power from 35 yards out. That's straight at the keeper. Cradden battling to try to keep possession, full of fire, sometimes guilty of being a little bit impetuous, but he wants to win, and you can't fault that. Hamill's throw, Lehman beaten by Presley, knocked down by Kirk, and Corrigan got there before Stamp, and you see in those little moments the good job that Martin Corrigan is doing.
Because Stamp in the last game I saw was making a lot of bursts forward, but because Corrigan, the defensive type player, he's able to match those runs, and it's kept Stamp fairly quiet. I mean, he could have scored a few minutes ago, but in the main, Stamp hasn't really had a big influence in the game.
A De Vries pass for Kirk, and Singabell stayed calm and played it off the Hearts striker for a goal kick. 10 minutes gone in the second half, and how's Scott Leach feeling about how things are going so far?
Well, Terry Butcher, Rob, just urging his back four to more concentration. Scott, how you get a bit nervous the way things are going now?
Yes, Hearts have come out very strongly, but we have to just sit in and keep our concentration levels high at the back, and try and get on the ball in midfield again.
Was that the message that Terry was giving to the players in the dressing room at half time?
Yes, and your Hearts will come out very strong in the second half, but he just says try and keep up the park and try and be disciplined.
Yeah, you try to stay calm, yes. Rob?
Poor Scott Leach, on a bad day if you pick the next seat to Chip Young in the stand. He just keeps talking to you. Motherwell throw. Stephen Blank did well to keep it in, and he reckoned that flicked off Dougie Ramsey. So did the Hearts fans, you might have heard them. Kevin McKenna's in the wars again.
I think he just turned into one of the Lehman. Lehman just had a kick at Valois there, surely right in front of the referee, and he's only given a foul for that.
Well, I find that incredible.
It's off the ball.
Dirk Lehman put his studs down the back of Jean-Louis Valois' leg here. There you look, you won't see it much clearer than that.
Is that just a free kick, not a booking? I can't believe that.
McMullen's free kick. Glanced away. Now Boyack. Stamp. It's a bit of shifting off the ball. That's useful. Cut out by Corrigan. And played away by Adams. Well, Dirk Lehman is a lucky man in my view.
Yeah, you wonder. I mean, Hugh Dallas has seen the foul, and so because he's given it, and yet he doesn't see what he actually does to get it. And you think of the booking that Hamill got earlier on as well, which was a pretty innocuous challenge.
Chested down by De Vries. Severin trying to escape the clutches of Sean Fagan. Boyack knocked over by Hamill. No free kick. Now Lasley for McFadden. Lasley getting into the box. It's behind him. And Paul McMullen drives it away. Partridge and Hamill combine. Now Corrigan threads it through for Fagan. Had to hurry, Sean Fagan. He realised the challenge from Severin was coming, and it arrived late.
I think I have to agree with that decision. I think that is a late challenge. Not any worse than what Lehman did, but watch this. This is strong and late, and he could have fought the youngster there.
Partridge and Singeveld both forward for the free kick. From Hamill, it's McFadden's header, and it's wide. He's a menace on the ground, and he's a feeble threat in the air as well.
Yeah, he's added that side to his game as well. That's a good header there, getting up and putting it away, but just a little bit wide.
Motherwell thinking about a change. In fact, they look as if they're about to make it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Sean Fagan who's coming off. Kevin McDonald's the player coming into play. Fagan, of course, has scored against Celtic on Tuesday night. He's had his run of the action tonight, and McDonald will replace him in a minute or two, Rob.
Another of the kids off the Fir Park assembly line. There are a lot of them around at the moment, and it's going to be an 18-year-old off and a 19-year-old on. Sean Fagan, who will dine out for a while, I would imagine, on that diving header against Celtic. His first top team goal was a big one, but he hasn't been too influential in this match, and that's the end of the action for him. Fagan off, and McDonald on.
He's taking his time. Hearts fans not too happy. I think Hearts will probably look to make a change at some stage. What they've done in recent games is that depending whether they're chasing the game, look for a goal. It's normally Gary Wales coming on for Andy Kirk. I just wonder if that would be the change they would make again today.
Misjudged that, it seemed, Daniel Singeveld, but he recovered well with the diving header, but it's at the expense of a corner. Presley and McKenna come up to take up their positions inside the 6-yard box. Moyak's delivery, punched away by Woods. Valois' cross is a good one. And Kevin McKenna almost in. What a wicked delivery that was from the Frenchman. And Woods was struggling.
It's a superb ball in, because it's one of those ones that drags the keeper off his line, and you can see here he's chasing it all the way. Doesn't get there, but it maybe does enough just to put McKenna off there. It really just had to be put back in softly, and it would have finished in the net with Stevie Woods well off his line.
Motherwell have reshuffled defensively, as they did during the week. They've gone to a back three with Corrigan in the middle, with Partridge and Singeveld, with Hamill and Ramsey as wing backs, and Kevin McDonald slotting into the midfield three.
I think that's good coaching, because you're looking at your side and you think we're struggling a little bit. I know they're not giving away, they haven't given away any goals, but Hearts are getting chances again. They've lost their way a little bit in this game. Motherwell, Hearts have got superiority, so I think that's good thinking from Terry Butcher. Just change the system and see whether that can revive their fortunes here, and Motherwell can get themselves back in the game, or at least be tighter at the back.
Certainly worked on Tuesday. They were going well with the back four, but they seem to look even stronger with the three. And that's the way it is here at Tynecastle. Motherwell 2-1 up. The Hearts threatening with McMullen. Useful ball in. It's 2-2. Andy Kirk. From 2-0 down, they've squared the game. First to Rees, then Kirk, his second goal of the season.
Magnificent goal. McMullen does brilliantly there. Talk about James McFadden in the first half, but he gets too much room to get his cross in. Andy Kirk does superbly well. I don't think they'll make that change now. I don't think Gary Wales will come on now. What a magnificent header. We've seen two great headers in this game. Three if you include obviously the Rees in the first half as well, but that is a superb finish from a great cross. But Terry Butcher will be really annoyed, because we having three at the back, then you really expect to have people out wide. They can stop the cross coming in, and that's what should have happened there.
McFadden shot blocked by Presley. And the whistle's gone. Now, it's interesting, we were speaking about Martin Corrigan, it was he who was in front of Andy Kirk there. Gordon missed the cross, and Kirk made sure that he was going to pay.
Well, Andy Kirk did brilliantly. No real excuse though for the Motherwell. They've got three centre-backs now, and yet you've got a striker not picked up. Hard enough with With two, you'd maybe expect a striker to get free, but with three centre-backs there, and none of the centre-backs out to actually stop McMullen getting the cross in, then he should be picked up in the box.
Great delivery from the 18-year-old. That will do him a lot of good. He's already got a goal to his credit this season, and that was pretty spectacular as well against Kilmarnock. One of our contenders for goal of the month for August.
You may just see Hearts pick up momentum there, Rob.
Yeah, talking of competitions, you can take part in man of the match. Kirk booked a goal and a yellow card in the space of a couple of minutes. Let's look at those man of the match numbers in case you haven't entered so far. 0900 10 225 by phone, by text at 07736 600 600. Gordon will make his decision near the end. It's Corrigan and Lasley. Partridge. An easy clearance from McKenna. Boyack, great running by Andy Kirk, he's onside. Can Kirk do it? Good save by Stevie Woods. Kirk tried to beat him at his near post. The goalkeeper was alive to it.
Good goalkeeper, look at a great run there, just timed perfectly. An excellent ball though. He's on the end of it, he's quick, Kirk, he's a good finisher as well, so I'm going to give Stevie Woods a lot of credit for that. That's a good save to make. It was a bit of a tight angle for Kirk, but excellent save.
Good reflexes. Valois with the corner kick. McKenna! Another brilliant stop by Woods, back in from Kirk. And away by Corrigan this time. One back by Maybury. Valois, just wide. Never a dull moment for Stevie Woods.
I thought he got a touch to that. Hugh Dallas has given a goal kick, but I was certain that Stevie Woods got a touch. It was a great save before that as well, before Valois shot.
Well, that's terrific goalkeeping. He saved with his left hand from Andy Kirk, and then with his right from Kevin McKenna to keep it at 2-all. It's anything but a lazy Sunday afternoon at Tynecastle.
I think Hearts, you can tell that the belief element has risen in the team. I think they can go on and win this game now. They're putting Motherwell under a bit of pressure. The change didn't really work out for them as such, getting the three centre-backs, and now Hearts are pushing, but they need to be careful, obviously, getting hit on the break. Something like McFadden would just be the very one just to turn the game back in Motherwell's favour. Well, a booking coming here.
Another late one from Derek Adams, the Motherwell captain, on full stamp. Not much subtlety about this one. Derek Adams joins the collection. That's the 5th yellow card of the match. Motherwell 3-2 up in terms of yellow cards, with Hamill, Adams and Singabald booked. Severin and Kirk for Hearts. 2-2 in terms of the goal count, and some thinking to do for Chris McCart and Teddy Butcher. 13 having been 2 up. Now pegged back.
I don't think Craig Levine will be thinking about change just at this moment, Robbie. It won't want to interrupt his side. As young James McFadden getting involved again with Alan Maybury there.
A flare-up between Maybury and McFadden. And the temperature has certainly risen in the last 10 minutes or so. No more cards. Andy Kirk wins a free kick, given against Martin Corrigan. And what Hearts have been able to do in recent times is get good deliveries into the box. McKenna and Presley await. In from Boyack. Mark de Vries was at the back post, and there was a bit of pushing going on. And a free kick goes Motherwell's way. 69 minutes gone. You're watching BBC Scotland. Motherwell 2 Hearts 2 at Tynecastle. Motherwell having been 2 up. Adams does well. Hamill. Kevin McDonald, the substitute. Daniel Singabald. Keith Lasley looking for Dougie Ramsey. McFadden. Motherwell have a free kick, and Dougie Ramsey has a problem.
The late challenge as well. I think he just got caught here. Just on his ankles, he's knocked the ball away. Going in a bit late.
In from Hamill. And very neatly turned away by Mark de Vries. Corrigan and Partridge and Singabald all forward from Motherwell. In from Adams, and no challenge on Roddy McKenzie. Pretty comfortable take considering how many bodies there were in the box. We're inside the last 20 minutes at Tynecastle. Very delicately poised, this one. And just too much on the pass from Presley. Flick, it was Severin and Singabald. His fellow German, Dirk Lehmann, taken away from him by Severin. It's well won by McFadden. He gives nothing up. Kevin McDonald's pass to Stephen Hamill was short, which allowed in Stephen Boyack. Presley to Maybury. Well won by Stephen Hamill, determined stuff. Presley cut out his pass. Long from Boyack. Singabald intercepted. Two at Tynecastle. Bags of entertainment here, and hopefully the same sort of entertainment value at Dens Park next Sunday. We're on from 2:30 with Dundee against Celtic. Bursting from the midfield, Keith Lasley. Paul McMullen got himself in the way. Corner kick conceded. He's learning a lot, McMullen. Pitched into the first team at age 18. Derek Adams sets it up. Singabald with a powerful header, but it was too close to the keeper. Stephen Hamill doing his best to win it back. He's quick and he's strong and he's competitive and he's a real prospect, isn't he, Hamill?
Excellent play. I mean, we're looking at two fine prospects from Scotland for left back here, McMullen and Hamill, and at the moment I'd say Hamill just has that bit more experience, but McMullen, a younger player, is going to get there eventually too.
Yeah, we seem to be well served in that position. Thank goodness we're well served in one position. Jean-Louis Valois having a look. Scott Severin. And bags of room for Alan Maybury to float this into the box. Adams was there, but it falls for Valois. Here's a chance. Stephen Boyack. 3-2 Hearts. The comeback is complete. They were 2 down, now they're in front.
Yeah, you can't deny them, it's been coming. It's a good ball delivered in. Hearts looked to clear the line, but Valois got round the back, fired it across. You think everyone's missed it. But in came Boyack at the back post. The base was trying desperately on the end of it as well. Couldn't quite get there. You see it just went inside the post. Good finish from Stephen Boyack. He's had a fine game, Boyack, today.
Yeah, it was pretty desperate, was Mark de Vries, to get a touch to that, but there's no complaints, because Stephen Boyack it is who's turned this match on its head.
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, Terry Butcher's made the change. It was probably the right thing to do, because they'd already lost the momentum they had. Motherwell Hearts were already controlling the game and dominating it, creating openings, but even the change hasn't helped in that respect. They've now lost 2 goals, even though they've got the 3 centre-backs. Once again there, Boyack getting into the back post unmarked.
Now it's Motherwell who have to fight back. Hamill's cross deflected towards Mackenzie. And again, Valois playing a big part in setting things up for Hearts. He may not be working hard enough, as we heard from Peter Houston in midfield, but he's got a real talent when he has the ball at his feet. And quality on the sort of balls he plays into the box really high.
Yeah, he's a very skillful player. He's been excellent. His delivery's been tremendous, and he's really been a good addition to Hearts. I mean, getting him for nothing, tremendous bit of business. Everyone talks about the foreign players, too many foreigners, but if they've got that kind of quality, Rob, then it's good to see them in our game.
Yeah, with Boyack on one side and Valois on the other. Hearts have been well served in the wide areas. Maybe he missed it first time, got it second. Champions League experience he has, while he was with Leeds. Trying to reignite his career at Tynecastle.
You've got to give Hearts credit. I mean, come from 2 goals down, I know they're at home. But the goal before half-time was crucial to get one back at that stage. It's amazing the difference it happens. I don't know why it always does. Teams getting back from 2-0 down, you get a goal, all of a sudden you're totally galvanised by it.
And here's an opportunity for another goal. It's Andy Kirk. It's 4-2. Kirk's second, Hearts 4. This really is a remarkable recovery.
Yeah, that's what Kirk's at his best. Great pace, held off the challenge too. But he's away, look, it's a good ball through, and he just plays on the shoulder. Martin Corrigan, they look at how he gets beyond them. He makes sure he doesn't go, but that's a terrific finish from Kirk. Good finisher, does score a lot of goals, and he's got to be happy with that one. That's a great finish. And just what we're saying about the Hearts, you know, what the comeback now is complete, Rob, isn't it? Like from 2 goals down to leading 4-2. You can't imagine for a minute now they're going to throw this game away.
The Hearts fancy themselves maybe for 1 or 2 more. Another 6-goal game on the BBC, and Craig Levein is a lot happier with the scoreline now. And he'll be pleased with the spirit shown by his side against an on-form Motherwell. And no one more spirited than Stephen Presley. Corrigan gets the better of Kirk this time. Single header, but it falls for Valois. Trying to set it up, and just inches away from number 5 for Hearts. I think Motherwell thought he was going to cross here and try and set up Mark de Vries, but this almost went in on its own.
It's great play. This is always on, because the goalkeeper's always dragged the cross in near post, getting those sort of positions in the corner of the 18-yard box. There's always a bit of space at the back post, a little chip, and he was very unlucky.
I think Hearts, Chick, looking like making a substitution, I think.
Well, there's nothing worse than scoring a goal and then getting hooked, and that's going to happen to Andy Kirk. Gary Wales, as Gordon was talking about earlier on, going to come on to replace him.
Stephen Hamill going down the left side for Motherwell, and his opposite number, Paul McMullen, with the clearance.
It's a change I'm sure Craig Levein was contemplating earlier on, because it's something he does.
Yeah, Gary Wales for Andy Kirk, and Stephen Ferguson, I think, is going to come on from Motherwell as well. What a performance from Andy Kirk. 2 goals out of the 4. Martin Corrigan had a think about pulling him down here on his way through, but as he hesitated, Andy Kirk didn't, and tucked that shot away for 4-2. And that was his last serious involvement, because Gary Wales replaces Andy Kirk.
He won't be happy when you're sitting in 2 goals in a game like this, and you come back and you're playing well. You don't want to come off, that's for sure, and I don't think he'll be happy at all.
A foul by McFadden on Presley. And there's frustration written all over the face of James McFadden, whose header had Motherwell 2 up, and the scoreline now says 4-2 down. Talking about Andy Kirk has got 17 goals from 37 appearances. He barely played last season, a lot of injury problems, and that's a pretty decent strike rate for Andy Kirk in terms of matches he's played. And what Hearts have is they've got a great bit of competition up front, because it's very much between Kirk and Wales as to who partners Mark de Vries.
I'm just wondering if he's getting a bit of treatment there, and you know, he had a knock, maybe an ankle knock or something, and he's getting some treatment, and that maybe what tempted the manager to get him off, so you don't get him injured in a day like this when he's done really well. But it looks as if he'd maybe been struggling with injury.
Phil Stump drifts the ball in, and no takers. Motherwell about to make a substitution as well, Chick.
Yeah, Stephen Ferguson, who got a little taste of action against Hibs earlier this season, coming on. Derek Adams, Rob, is the man who'll be coming off. Teddy Butcher just having a word with Ferguson, and the sub will be made right now.
You wonder then if he might put James McFadden into midfield, because Ferguson is a striker. Good one too, a good young player.
Yeah, he's on loan from Tottenham. Stephen Ferguson, formerly with East Fife, you might remember him from there. He moved south a couple of years ago. Still only 20, and he's on loan, I think, till January. Stephen Hamill putting pressure on Paul McMullen, and the youngster, well, he's 2 years younger than Hamill, did well. Stephen Hamill's throw, the flick from Lehman, and the effort from Ferguson took a little deflection before it was grabbed by McKenzie. Last chance, take partner in man of the match competition. 0900 10 225 07736 600 600. The lines will close shortly. 2 goals for Andy Kirk, another starring performance from James McFadden. 7 goals for the season from Mark de Vries. Hamill's free kick. Lehman was there, and the effort from Ferguson well off target.
Off the goal, it looks as if Tevic has gone pretty positively now. He's got, seems as if he's gone to a back 4 again and gone 4-3-3. Looks like he's pushed Hamill into midfield, and he's left Ferguson and McFadden and Lehman, left them all up front.
Yep, 4-3-3, Partridge at left back, Corrigan and Singevald central defence. McMullen on the move, another tempting ball in for Mark de Vries. Kevin McDonald gets it clear. Hopeful shouts, yeah, hopeful shouts from
handball there,
yeah.
Not sure it was deliberate, but certainly appeared to hit an arm.
Jean-Louis Valois chasing the pass from Presley. That took a deflection on its way in, which made it awkward for Daniel Singevald. It's still awkward with Mark de Vries in front of him. Again, Valois to the byline. Mark de Vries still down. That's a poor clearance. Scott Severin, well wide. The concern for Hearts is Mark de Vries grounded, and Well, here's another chance to see, was it a handball, Gordon?
I thought it was, but I'm interested to see if it was. Yeah, just two arms, I think he stopped that one.
Just the two arms.
It was an arms ball rather than an arm ball. These took a bit of a knock, but we'll have to go off, I think, now, and we'll get call back on. But as I said, that Motherwell going off positive style, 4-3-3 now. Maybe a little bit late, considering they've got to try and pull a couple of goals back. I don't see them doing it.
Does one arm cancel out the other one when it's going to use both arms?
Yeah, it must be. But they've contributed so much to this game, Motherwell. Terrific performance from them again, and you know, twice in a row, live on television, and they've shown they're certainly a team worth watching.
Here's Gary Wales, trying to make an impression in the closing stages. Certainly trying to make an impression on Martin Corrigan. And the Motherwell man reacted with a little bit of fury here. I think there was a bit of short swapping almost on there. Kind of shirt swapping, but surely not short swapping. But you can see the frustration there from Motherwell. Got themselves into a winning position and now very much a losing position. Valois' free kick. And there was a free header for Gary Wales. He was surprised. Corrigan missed it.
Yeah, it was a good ball again, and Gary Wales will be disappointed. He got away from his defender, got behind him, got space. Couldn't go over it though.
Sliced out of play by Alan Maybury. As you can see, 86 minutes on the clock. Have Hearts killed off Motherwell. Fir Parkers will feel they need a goal back shortly to give themselves any real hope of salvaging something out of this game. Ian Russell will be the next change for Motherwell. Hamill's corner kick. Valois, De Vries, Mullen. Gary Wales makes a run, and a late run made by Scott Severin, and the goal won't count.
I'm interested to see this. I don't think this is a foul, but it's a great ball in from McMullen. I think he's definitely going for the ball. Watch this, Scott Severin, look. Yeah. His arms aren't up.
I don't see anything wrong with that at all.
I don't see, he collides with the goalkeeper at the same time, but look, I don't think there's any attempt to make a foul there.
I think Scott Severin very unlucky not to be given that goal. That would have made it 5-2. And maybe another sign there that referees sometimes are a little bit overprotective of goalkeepers, because that really was a gigantic leap by Scott Severin.
Yeah, I think it would have just made his game. He's been really prominent, Scott Severin, right throughout the match. It's certainly the early part, and the second half's going on too. I don't think Hugh Dallas is going to talk to me if he watches this tape, probably, because...
You mean he's talking to you at the moment?
Just about.
Lines of close for man of the match. 88 minutes played. In from Kevin MacDonald, and Daniel Singeveld can't get there. And Ian Russell on the pitch for Motherwell, making his debut. He was a regular with Rangers under-21s last season as they won the title. And he's already got a hat-trick from Motherwell under-21s. A 19-year-old of some promise. McFadden with the free kick, but it's swinging away from the substitute. Stephen Hamill was the player to go off, by the way. Good touch from Gary Wales. Good control. Good movement off the ball for Hearts as well from Phil Stamp. And it's all about time wasting. Didn't manage it. David Partridge clears. Presley. Severin. Lasley kept it in. Kevin McKenna knocked it out. Who's the man of the match, Gordon?
Well, I think it's been about the sum of the parts today rather than any individual. I think James McFadden was heading for it with his first half performance, but he's fallen out it. I think Andy Kirk had a tremendous second half. Stevie Woods and Motherwell go, but I'm looking overall, I think that in terms of steady play, top class right throughout the game, I'm going to go for Scott Severin.
Scott Severin, who's part of Bertie Vogt's Scotland squad, and one would hope he has a big future at international level. He's Gordon's man of the match. So 10 seconds of 90 minutes left and 3 minutes to be added on. And David Doig is the assistant on the main stand side, pointing something out that Hugh Dallas wants to know about. He's reaching for his cards.
Certainly Scott Severin was involved here, and having just been named man of the match, you just wonder whether he'll... Partridge involve Scott Severin. No, he's luckily he's not getting the blame for that incident.
The man of the match jinx doesn't strike again. Partridge booked. 30 seconds of stoppage time played. Motherwell desperate to get a goal back. It's Corrigan and Presley. It's good defending from Paul McMullen, who just got his body in the way, and there's no way past for Corrigan. Wales with the back heel to De Vries. Interception by Ramsey. McKenna's header and the offside flag was up. And it's all slipping away from Motherwell now. They've got themselves into such a strong position, 2 goals up.
I think Terry Butcher will still take a lot from this, Rob. I mean, he couldn't even field his stronger side today, and they are short in terms of a squad as it is. So it's been a tremendous effort from them. They led, they played well first half, but you've got to give credit for Hearts. Hearts have proved that this is going to be a better season from this year. Strong unit right throughout the side, and good players.
Valois! A brilliant effort and a wonderful save from Stevie Woods. He really does strike it so well, the Frenchman.
Well, he's been determined to get one of these today, hasn't he? He's tried a few, but this is a magnificent strike. What a save from Stevie Woods. That's a fantastic save. Save of the season, I would say.
Steady, it's early doors.
So far.
And it's Valois with the corner. For Phil Stamp. Couldn't keep it down. The idea was good.
Good invention from Valois there. He spots the player, delivers it on a plate for Phil Stamp, and he did well. The side foot was the right thing to do. Just couldn't keep it down.
Not first class from Stamp that time. Inside the 3rd minute of stoppage time, the 3rd and final minute. That's Wales and Stamp. They've proved very durable here, Hearts. Having been 2 goals down, and they might well have had a 5th goal from Jean-Louis Valois. Look at the technique here as he gets himself over the shot, tipped with the outside of the left foot, and you won't see a much better save than that from Stevie Woods. He was heading in under the crossbar. 4-2 Hearts, and Craig Levine delighted. Great spirit shown by his team, having been 2-0 down. Goals from Doug Lehman and from James McFadden. And how important was that goal from Mark De Vries, his 7th of the season, just before half-time, which breathed new life into the Tynecastle team. And the second half was theirs, with Andy Kirk scoring twice. Stephen Boyack scored as well. And they might well have added to that tally as well. Lots to impress you about the performance of James McFadden yet again. And from a thin squad, Terry Butcher is getting magnificent results from Motherwell, but they just couldn't hold out here. In the end, it was Hearts who got stronger. And that was a stunning second half show from the home team, which took it from 2-1 to 4-2. And and Peter Levine just can't keep the smile off his face. It protects the unbeaten record. That's Tynecastle. Let's hear from the man of the match.
Scott, I guess that was the classic game of two halves, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. We were disappointed in the first half. Motherwell, well, we started well, but Motherwell came in and got two sloppy goals from their point of view. But the boys dug in, and I thought we deserved a victory in the end.
Must have been some half-time team talk from the gaffer. Was he unhappy?
It was a little bit. Midfielders, we weren't tracking runners. They were here to fight, and we weren't up for it. So we had to roll the sleeves up the second half, and we just done that and got the victory.
I saw him having a go at you in the first half, actually. Was he getting a bit personal at one stage?
Sometimes that's what you need, the wee kick out backside. Everybody needs it now and again, but we just try to get the best out of us.
You've given us another 6-goal thriller on the UBC this afternoon. There's been some great football in Scotland this season, hasn't there?
Yeah, there has. A few high-scoring games, and hopefully all may continue.
What do you think Hearts can achieve this season?
I'm not sure. We've done reasonably well start of the season. Just hoping to continue, and wherever it takes us, maybe third, fourth, wherever, we'll just be looking to go as high as possible.
What did you make of Motherwell? They came here with obviously a big reputation after being Celtic on Tuesday night.
Yeah, they did. I watched the game. They done really well. They battled for every ball. We knew that would be their game plan today. But as I said, we had to match them. And I think our flair players came in and done the business.
Well, that half-time lecture did the business for you because you won the Bank of Scotland man of the match.
Cheers.
Well done, Scott.
Thank
you. Cheers, Paul.
Yes, well done, Scott Sovereign. Well done to Hearts, coming back from a 2-goal deficit to win 4-2 against Motherwell. John Robertson said before the match, I gave you a hard time at half-time. You said 3-1, 2 clear goals. 4-2, you were absolutely right, 2 clear goals.
Yeah, it's a great fight back from them, and I think they thoroughly deserved it in the end. Motherwell, terrific first half, thoroughly deserved their 2-goal lead, but in the end Hearts were just too strong for Motherwell, created a lot of chances. In fact, it wasn't for Stevie Woods, it could have been another couple.
Yeah, exactly. They've got an awful lot of confidence, especially at home, Hearts, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're steady now. I mean, I read this morning, you know, Craig was giving his pre-match interviews, and he was saying that he was quite confident this season because his squad were steady, hadn't lost a lot of players, and he felt that you know, this was the start of something special for them. And they show a good spirit that comes from a togetherness as a team there. They're down, they fought back, and had a poor first half really, and you know, Craig himself would deserve a great deal of credit, getting them a lift at half-time, sending them out again, and thoroughly deserved their win, and we were by far the better side of the second half.
Well, it certainly was something special, as Walter just said. So let's have a look now at the story of the match. Initially, Val, I was quite surprised Val wasn't in there for perhaps man of the match, because he had a great start as well. He had a free kick just after 45 seconds, which Woods was good to be, you know, he was on the ball there and make sure he got that.
Yeah, well, we're just talking about the ball there. I saw him play the other night at Iverson. He's one of those players that can be quiet for long spells in the game and then produces something, you know, a little bit special. We said at half-time that we felt they needed, you know, more crosses there, and it'd be probably influential in the second half of the game.
Yeah, without a doubt. But Motherwell definitely the strongest of the first.
Yeah, I think Walter got the point over at the start that Motherwell were inconsistent. I think you've seen that through the whole 90 minutes today.
Sure.
They started off on fire, a great finish from Dirk Raymond, then McFadden as well, 2-0 up in control of the game, and looked like they're going to go on from there. And then, you know, the goal right on half-time from Mark DeVries seemed to knock the stuffing out of them a wee bit. In the second half, Hearts totally dominated it and were well worth the victory.
Well, let's have a look at this goal from DeVries now. I mean, you mentioned at half-time they needed more balls in from wide areas, and that was how they got that first goal.
Yeah, half an hour in the game before they really got a telling cross in. And then, you know, in the last 15 minutes of that first half, there was signs that things were getting a little bit better for them in that respect. And in the second half, you know, far better. And they get DeVries and Kirk into the penalty area far more often, and got the ball into the box and eventually got the win that they deserved.
Singapore did really well here. It could have been 2-2, but finally, here's Dirk Lehmann. You think the referee clearly didn't see what actually happened here. He gave the foul for the push, but we'll talk about it probably a bit later.
Yeah.
What we'll do is now go into this. This is the equaliser. This is Andy Kirk's goal. They needed this.
Yeah, well, we spoke about the young lad McMullen getting round there. It's the first time in the match he done it. Great bit of skill. Again, magnificent cross. And the one thing about Andy Kirk, he will get you goals.
Yeah.
If he gets it, get the ball in the box, and he's in there, he'll score goals. And Walter was right. The first 45 minutes, he was doing all his better work in areas that weren't going to hurt Motherwell. and he eventually got in there. As you see again, into the box, a chance, good strike, another great save from Stevie Wood. So, you know, Hearts started to get the key players into the right areas.
Yeah, they did put the pressure on us. There's another great save from Stevie Woods there. Like you said, it could have been an awful lot more. But soon after all that pressure, it was another one. It was 3-2, Stephen Black getting goal.
Yeah, as I said, you know, the pressure for Hearts was very intense at that period, and they were getting quite a number of players in the box, but they never quite managed to do that in the first half of the game. And, you know, Stephen Black waiting at the back there, and a good finish to put his team in front there.
It was a great ball across from Valba as well, John.
Yeah, he's done it. It's one of them that you strike, it's a cross-come shot. He's trying to drive it in there in the hope that either one of the Hearts players or indeed a Motherwell player can deflect it in. But this is another great finish. Andy Kirk gets across the defender, and it's a cool side footer. As I say, those were the areas he started to exploit. He was getting into the channels, be more central. I think Walter said that first half, he needed to be in the more danger areas. And once he gets a sniff of goal, the lad will take it, and I'm sure he'll not be too happy to get taken off.
He got taken off, that's right, good for his hat-trick.
The strikers' union there.
He gets taken off. Now Valwa, this is another great chance. I thought, oh my goodness, this was going in, didn't you?
Yeah, I think when the game opens up, you know, players that have the ability that he looks to have come into the game a little bit more, and you know, that chip there and the shot at the end, two bits of skill that Andy would be proud of.
Now this is one here that he said during the game, I think maybe goalkeepers get looked after a bit too much. No, was there a lot wrong with that?
That's a goal. You look at Scott Seven, he's got his eyes,
you're a striker.
But he's got his eye on the ball,
Aye.
and at no stage does he even look at the goalkeeper there, and for me that was a legitimate goal, and that effort was a stunning strike and a stunning save. But in the end, you know, Hearts won comfortably, which is a shame for Motherwell. We put a lot into it early, but there's no denying that Hearts are going to be a very, very strong force this season.
Okay, well, Craig Levine has been watching, and I'm sure that he will absolutely agree with everything that John Robertson said there, especially that Severn goal that never was. He's with Chick Young just now.
Craig, here's the deal. You pay us, the BBC will come every week, and we'll make sure you win, because you've provided some entertainment for us, are you not?
Yeah, great entertainment. I thought that both sides tried to play. There was goal-scoring opportunities at both ends, and although it can be a bit dodgy for the manager's ticker, it was certainly entertaining.
We're just talking about Valwa, what a player, and you were watching the rerun of the game there. You know, you just tell me he hasn't scored a goal. It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, he's had some great opportunities that he's manufactured himself, and most goalkeepers have made great saves against him. He's hit the woodwork, but it's just a matter of time. He's a wonderfully talented player.
What did you say to the players at half-time?
We spoke all week about how much of a battle it was going to be and how competitive it was going to be, and I think part of the problem, we started that well the first 10 minutes. I thought that the players looked like they thought, oh, this is easy. You know, all we need to do is pass the ball, keep possession, and we'll win the game. And I think Motherwell overpowered us in the first half and outplayed us as well. And I felt that was through lack of commitment and effort.
That goal before half-time was always vital, isn't it?
Yeah, it was great to get back in it. We did have a few opportunities in the first half, although Motherwell had a few others as well to score. And it was a good goal, a good cross in, and Mark De Vries found himself some space, which he's been struggling to do in recent weeks. And scored a wonderful header, and that was enough to give us a lifeline for going into the second half.
These BBC games we've shown this season, Craig, I think it's been dawning on a lot of people that there's not all that much wrong with Scottish football.
No, I don't think there is. If you look at the amount of Scottish talent that's out there, and that's a different thing from Scottish football, I know, but I mean, you know, there's a lot of Scottish players playing in the teams out with the old firm, and I think that we both tried to play. I think Terry will be disappointed after being in front at half-time, but I'm really concerned that congratulating my players on the way they knuckled down and got themselves back into the game.
A sense that your team, when you got the equaliser, always felt you could go on and win the game.
Yeah, I think so. I think that it can be, to be 2-0 up and get the lead clawed back to 2 each can be a bit of a psychological blow, and I think the Motherwell players at that point were obviously thinking that they were under the cosh, and I think they were. I think we were on top at that time, and you can see by the clips that we just shown, we had loads of opportunities in the second half.
I'm sure you want to welcome the BBC back again.
Every week.
Right, Craig, cheers.
And again next Sunday with the Hearts match as well. No, not actually, but he must be delighted, Craig Levine there, that his team showed that spirit and that determination to get back into the match, John.
Yeah, he's moulded a tremendous squad together there, and he's taken his time, and he's been looking for certain types of players to fill the positions, and he's got them now. As we said before the game, he's got a very strong spine down the middle with McKenna, Presley, Severn, Stamp and De Vries and Kirk. And you add that to the talent he's got on the left-hand side with McMillan and Valois. Alan Mabry's sits a wee bit deeper on the right-hand side, but with Boyack there, Twaddle there to come in, Mai to come back. Hearts have got a very strong squad, and I would think at this moment in time would be most people's favourites to finish in third place.
Yeah, certainly a good chance of it. Walter, it was an interesting point that Craig made there about the Scottish talent that was on show from both sides, and that's fairly good to see, isn't it?
Yes, it is good to see. I mean, coming back to Scotland for the first time for a number of years, you know, you read a lot and hear a lot of criticism of Scottish football, but there's quite a number of younger players on show in games that I've already seen this season that, you know, things would augur well for us in the future. I think we've got to be careful with younger players, as we mentioned about Motherwell in general, and Terry was talking about the young lad, McFadden. He can be up and down, and we're inclined to take the really good parts and forget about the other parts. And they've got to be given a little bit of time to settle down, and hopefully we don't get too carried away. But it is a good thing that the talent is there.
Now, we're trying to get Terry Butcher to talk to us before the end of the programme, but there's a locked door in the Motherwell dressing room just now. Apparently some harsh words being said by the sound of things, according to Czech anyway. Did we learn that from you, Walter?
Terry's been known to lift a door or two in his time.
I mean, did you think his team deserved? I mean, they are a young side. Do they deserve to get a bit of a thrashing after letting a 2-goal advantage down?
No, I don't think that you know, once things settle down, that Terry will be that disappointed. I think it's a good thing. Not a good thing that you lose. Obviously, nobody wants to lose, but they are a very young team. And as I said, the expectation of everyone this season was that they would be relegated. Now they've shown that, you know, that's not the case. But when you have to play 2 games or 3 games in 7 days, and you have to play with the effort that they have to put into the game, there's no halfway for Motherwell. They have to approach the game full out, and when they've had to give their all on Tuesday against Celtic, even the extra day playing to the Sunday is not enough for them, and it was noticeably tired in the second half as much as anything.
Okay. Well, if John Robertson wants to look away just now, we'll look at the league table. This takes Hearts up to 3rd in the table on goal difference. They're on the same points as Kilmarnock and Dunfermline. Livingston sitting down there on 4 points. Clearly that's going to change, Robbo, isn't it?
Well, hopefully. We're certainly working hard enough at it, and you know, we need a break here and there, and it was a good performance yesterday against Rangers, as we said earlier. But we've got to build on that now. We've got 3 vital matches coming up. We play next week against Aberdeen, then Hibs and Hearts, so we've really got to take some for these games.
Very briefly, we'll just a quick chat. You've got this European match coming up this week. It's not going to be easy either for you.
No, Sturm Graz are a team that are playing regularly in the Champions League, so we've got to go over there, be as positive as we can in the first leg on Thursday night, and try and get a result and give ourselves a chance of doing something in the home game at Amityville. Yeah.
Now, let's have a look then to see what's coming up, because there's coverage this week on Radio Scotland of Aberdeen against Hertha Berlin. That's on Tuesday on air at 4 o'clock. And then Žižkov against Rangers on Tuesday as well in the first round of the UEFA Cup. Then on Thursday night, Celtic against FK Seduva. And then that match that John was talking about there, Sturm Graz against Livingston. On Thursday night, we're on air from 7:15 on Radio Scotland. And then on Thursday night at 10 o'clock, we have Your Call with Jim Traynor. 0500 92 95 00 is the call, the number to call. Remember that on Thursday night. And then on television next week, we have the usual news and previews on lunchtime sports scene. That's at 12:10, followed by the half-time roundup at 4:45, and all the results, action and reaction at 4:45 on sports scene. And then it's not Hearts Live next week, unfortunately for Craig Levine. It's Dundee against Celtic next week at 2:30, and then Rangers against Partick Thistle. The news from Tynecastle today: Hearts come back from a 2-goal deficit to win 4-2 against Motherwell. They're 4th in the table. From everyone in the sports scene team, thanks for your company. Goodbye.